This is Robert Demers for Conman here at the premiere of The Demolisher at Fantasia International Film Festival, and I'm here with the star of the film, Barrett, who plays Bruce. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm great. How are you doing, man?
Pretty good. How does it feel that the premiere is completely sold out?
It's an amazing feeling. It's pretty much all that you can ask for a premiere. I mean, you're already in an amazing festival, and people want to see your film. So for it to be sold out is just it's icing on the cake.
How did you bring that intensity to the character?
You know what? I think it was already there. The character was developed to be that way. And it's surrounded by the story elements and the characters that just that's what it is. It's I just pretty much stepped in and did what I had to do for that. Obviously, you have to find and dig deep for certain things and whatever inspires you to do that. But it was there. The film's called The Demolisher. So, yeah.
What was your experience like working on the film?
It was, I love filmmaking, and obviously it's fun and something that I'm passionate about. And like you say that it's fun, but it also is. It's a lot of work. And this film itself was everybody involved put their everything into it, and it really shows. I think for me, it was one of the hardest, both physically and mentally, doing the stunts, and then the mental side of it it all matters. So it was one of the harder roles I've ever done. But looking back at it now, those are the roles that you really look back at and appreciate afterwards. So it was just a very intense experience.
What was your approach going into this hard and troubled character?
The approach was I usually take a different approach with every role. So for this, it was just I talked a lot with Gabriel. We discussed exactly what the tone of it was and what we were going for. And I think one of the main themes was to do something different. Was to do something that hadn't really been done with a vigilante film before. So we really went out of our way to make this character different, and the approach was really just making him more human than what we've seen before. Hopefully. Obviously there's films like Death Wish and stuff like that where the character is very human, but that was a major part of it. Just always thinking to make him real.
What was the first thing you did after finishing the film?
I think the very first thing I did was I slept. I went right to bed and I slept for probably about 14 hours because it was a crazy shoot. With a small, very dedicated group of people, crew, cast, we busted our asses, and it was shot over about 3 weeks, and nobody slept during that time. So we just we took advantage of that, and then we slept.
What was your most memorable moment from the production?
Most memorable moment, I think, would have to be there's a scene I did with Jess Vano where we had to rehearse. It's a very prominent scene in the film. It's all slow motion, an action sequence. Mm-hmm. It takes place in a very big sort of abandoned construction room, and we had to rehearse this scene over and over again because it was a motion dolly shot going on a curve and slow motion. So every connection, every hit had to look like it had to work. So we rehearsed it many times, and then we shot it just as many times, and then finally we got a couple that worked. So that was that I remember mainly because I remember a lot of parts of it, but that was like the exertion and everything that went into it, and the planning and everything coming together. That's the moment I remember the most.
And finally, is there anything you would like to say to the audience?
I just hope that, I don't know if it's a film that I can say that I hope you enjoy, but it's a film that I hope affects people and makes people think about the other side of everything, of consequences, and there are things that we all want to do, and finding the morality in that is often hard, and it takes more thought than it does effort. Or maybe vice versa, I don't know. But I don't know what I'm saying at this point. But yeah,
Well, thank you so much for talking with us, and enjoy the premiere.
thanks a lot. Cheers.